Holding 3, 2, 1. Shit. Do you know, I generally have met every single person I've ever interviewed, apart from Christy.
Yeah.
We've
We
never
have
met.
not met.
No, we haven't.
That's crazy.
I've admired your work.
Oh, thank you very much, Gary.
So I don't know many more people in our industry that post more than me, and that's you.
I do post quite a bit.
You're prolific, and you can tell your stuff is great. So I'm Gary Kasulu. Welcome to the Optician podcast. In the next 20 minutes to half an hour, who knows, you're going to learn a lot about Christine, and I think she's pretty amazing from what I see. But we have so many similarities. Christine, tell us who you are, and tell us to the audience that don't know you.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Kristie Nguyen, and I'm an optometrist. I've been practicing for 20 plus years here in the Orlando area. I've recently joined, have my first lease inside of a C eyewear retail. And so I do practice a little bit of myopia management as well as dry eyes. But the biggest part of what I do is just being on social media, educating the public about eye care, because I think it's super important that people understand what we do as a profession. So I like to connect both the aesthetic part as well as the health part. So I do work with different companies modeling eyewear as well as talking about businesses so that everyone can have a general idea of what we do as a profession in a whole and make it fun in the meantime.
You're making my heart beat faster. You're making it beat faster because we're rare. The people that are clinicians and that side, and there's the people that are totally fashion, and there's the people that appreciate both worlds. And the word positivity just flows from you. It's so good. Just so good. So why do you love working in our industry? What are the things that really stand out for you?
Well, it's because personally, I am a person who grew up wearing glasses, wearing contact lenses. So I understand the struggle of not being able to see clearly. So being able to give that back to other people, that's what drives me.
Can you give us a rough idea of your prescription?
Before LASIK, it was like about a -5 1/4, -1 1/4 in both eyes.
Okay, that gives me a rough idea. And how did you first get into optics? What was your route in?
My route in, let's just say that I had a calling. I was thinking about, my career in middle school, and I kind of prayed about it, and I came across the how would I describe this as the revelation during church, during a passage of God curing the blind. And I was like, you know what? I would love to do exactly that because I am pretty much blind without my glasses and contact lenses. So I understand the struggle there. So if I can give that gift back to somebody as an optometrist, since I don't like to deal with blood, then that would be amazing. And so that's why I considered optometry as an 8th grader, and entering high school, I already knew what path I needed to take. And I literally just had my blinders on the entire time. And that's how I ended up here.
Wow. So I've interviewed hundreds of optometrists for jobs. And one of my biggest frustration, I say to them, why do you want to be an optometrist? And they say, I didn't quite get into pharmacy. I'm like, get out. Don't sit here. Like your story is, you're empathic as well. I can feel that you're empathic. Your fashion, you care. Like you're the most perfect optometrist a patient would want to be sitting in front of. And is there moments in your time when you're like, oh my God, I'm fed up of people? And genuinely answer, because I love people. Like I just don't get bored of patients.
Well, I have a lot of patients. I am the oldest sibling in a family of 6 or 7 of us. And so I do have a lot of patients, and there's very few that could push me to my limit. But let's just say for the most part, I do love all my patients, and I do want to make sure that they see clearer than before they came in to see me. Working in retail before, as a contractor, I dealt with working with multiple doctors within one practice. So I get to see a lot of like remakes from other doctors. And the staff would always bring it back to my day for whatever reason, because I get to solve that issue for them so they don't have to worry about a third remake.
Well, so I'd like to explore that, if I may, because anyone watching this or listening, I want you to get bundles of value for we respect your time. You're listening to us. We're just talking about the thing that we love. So let's talk, which is eyes and frames and prescriptions and so on. So if someone is really mad and angry, right? So surgeons talk about bedside manner. The first thing to do is to be at eye level. A surgeon will never talk to someone downwards. And I see this in office where someone is mad and someone else is standing above them. Like, that's the first. I don't know if you want to just freestyle, you and I. That would be one of the first things I do. Someone's not very happy, and one of the first, I just come to eye level with them. Yourself?
Yeah. So what I do is I just let them vent. So a lot of times they're coming in already upset because the last place didn't get the prescription right. They've gone back for remakes and we're told that it was all in their head, that they just need to adjust to the prescription.
I see that all the time.
Right. Then I'm like, you know what? Let's just hear your story. Like, why is it not working? What do you feel is not clear? And when there's like everything, I'm like, oh, great. What was working before all this? So I like to see what they came in prior to the new script, what was prescribed. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just start from scratch. So I let them vent. A lot of times they just want to vent. And once they vent, they are now calm. And then I explain to them, let's go ahead and just start fresh and just see what the new numbers are. And I'll show you the difference between what you came in with, what was prescribed, and what I find today. And you just let me know what works best for you. So then when I come across that way, they're like, okay, let's do this. And then we end it with a trial frame just to make sure that they leave with a happy pair of prescription here. And then again, a lot of times they leave very happy and confident that the new script will work for them.
Yeah, so I am an optician. I'm not an optometrist. I'll find sometimes if somebody hasn't changed their prescription for a long time, they've got used to the wrong PD. They've got used to the frame being out of shape. There's a lot of things there. Someone's got a high seal. Yes. We know that if we change it too much, too soon, it's going to be an onto. If it's a first time varifocal, they have to move their nose. They've got expectations before. Have you got any tips on how to avoid, or when you're spotting something that's gone wrong and you're just seeing it consistently?
Well, I asked them, let's give a good example. Let's say progressive wearers, new progressive wearers. And they're like, it's just not working for me, doc. I said, well, how are you using it? I don't know. They just gave me a pair of glasses and then that's it. I'm like, well, this is how it should be used. And I explained to them, progressive is designed like an hourglass. There's only that vertical part of the lens that is clear. Everything else is completely blurry because it's blending everything in. It's very important because of the amount of prescription you have, that your nose is pointing straight at wherever you want to look, adjusting the chin up and down to get to the right prescription. This can take a couple of days to a couple of weeks, depending on what type of an adapter you are. Are you typically a fast adapter? Or are you a slow adapter? And that will kind of give you an idea of how long it may take you to adjust to this prescription. But again, it will become automatic the more you do it. Just be careful of steps and stairs when you first wear your glasses, because there's magnification now at the bottom of that lens. Personally, when I first adjusted, I just want to make sure I'm looking straight ahead when I'm walking and not down at my feet. So I kind of give them things that I have experienced when I try to wear my first pair of progressive, what my pain points are. Because again, as a user yourself, you understand their pain points, so you can let them know expectations. And if you don't let them know what to expect, then that's where the problem is. So if you just explain to people what to expect, that it may not be perfect, there's some adjustments, they understand this and they now can.
I always say half the collection is done on dispense. I know, for those that are listening and can't see what I'm about to do, the ones that I know are going to be bad news are the patients that come and collect and they move the reading material backwards and forwards. I'm like, no. You know how to move your head, not the reading material. So like that's always, so they've come to collect. They've got no idea how these things work, and then they're moving their head. So I'm going to say something bold here. I think you'd be good at any job. You're a people person. You're a technician. You're fashionable. And we are lucky to have you in our profession because you're creative too. I think anything you would have turned your hand to, you would have been great. You would have been amazing. You show the characteristics of a high achiever. Is that a bold
Yes,
Is that a bold statement?
I'm a winner at heart. So
Yes. Well, there's a lot to do with being firstborn. I don't know if you know
yes,
this, but something like
I think so. I think
a
so. And
cra-
Asian. I think Asian too.
a crazy amount of gold medalists at Olympics are firstborn. Most people that have been to space are firstborn. But if you're listening to this and you're not firstborn, apparently the last one in the end are really high achievers. High achievement is something I've really studied. If you've heard of a guy called Napoleon Hill. Have you heard of him?
I've not heard of that.
So
No.
he studied high achievers, and he said that there's one trait in particular that they all have, and it's bouncing back into a positive mood from a negative.
Yeah, I don't like to stay negative for very long because it doesn't feel good.
Tell me about the cult. I bet I would like to come and work with you for a day. Tell me about the culture of your practice, of your office. Tell me the culture.
Well, my practice right now has about, 4 females and 1 male. And I have my own office. I don't have a tech, so I do everything from start to finish for my eye exam.
Wow.
The staff is only part of the retail, but we all get along because I like to communicate with the staff. I do a very smooth transition so that they can close the sale. And that helps them. And that way they like what I do as well. So when we communicate each other and we're on happy terms, it works out great.
It's everything.
So if they're getting the sale and I'm having happy patients on my end, then it works better. So I try not to talk bad about people at work. I try to get along with people at work. I try to communicate, oh, this is how you should talk to patients about this particular topic, because then they would understand more. So I try to go one-on-one with somebody at work if they're not understanding how to communicate a certain way, because sometimes the lingo could be a little bit different between optics side and then the medical side. But I never try to make them feel dumb about it. I say, hey, if you ever need anything, just come talk to me. If you want to see what I'm doing on this side, I'm more than happy to show and teach you how to do it. So just even recently, I had a new staff member. I think she's been there for like a little over 2 years, but she didn't know about trial framing. So I showed her what the trial frame looks like, how we move the different dials on the trial frame so that we can make sure that the prescription works, especially if the patient's coming back for a recheck or for whatever minor adjustment we need to make. So that way, if I'm not there, she can feel free to come back and do that herself. And so she was really,
So that shows me more that you're very empowering. So I've worked in opticians my whole life, a long, long time. I'm a bit older than you. And
just a little bit. I'm sure we're almost at the same age.
no way. I'm like 20 years older than you.
No way.
I'm telling you, I'm 52.
Okay, you're just a little bit older.
So I was like, I entered optics by luck. And from my very first day, I loved it. I just thought this is the best ever fashion and looking after people. And I feel like that connection with you. And I've always, like when I see your stuff, I'm like, this lady's like super cool. She's super cool. But what I find is in some practices, not always like that. It's a very sterile environment.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that human connection. And when people complain, they complain because there isn't that connection. They'll be more patient. So have you heard of the 3-way handover that Essilor do? Have you heard of this?
No, but I've worked within that company.
So Essilor in Europe, they call it a 3-way handover, where we hand over to the optometrist and say, this is Christine, she's amazing. You're in really good hands. We give them your patient in a good mood with a drink, maybe. They go into you. You then hand over that power back to the optometrist, back to the outside. And it's all done really nice, maybe even in the room, that handover. So they call that Essilor invented it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I do something similar, and that's only because I find that it helps solidify the patient from my side so they understand. So I already explained. So I do a lot of explaining in the room. So I'll go over, this is your prescription. This is what I would recommend because this will help do this, this, and this. And these are the complaints that you came in today. I'm going to go walk you out to the optician. I'm going to hand this off. And I say, hey, Matt, this is Julie. We just did the exam. She works on the computer a lot. We're going to go ahead and increase that corridor on that progressive. She'll be a first user. If you can go over that with her. I did already explain some for her, but if you can give her some
that makes
tips,
such a difference.
it makes a huge difference.
But
and that like I said, it works for both of us.
But here's the thing. Here's the secret sauce, right? You're doing it with a smile on your face. The smiling is international. Wherever you go in the world, whatever language you are, people feed off that vibe. You could go into an office and everyone's had an argument. Someone split up with their boyfriend. Someone's argued with their wife. It's like crazy. The patient picks up on that.
Yeah.
Like you're saying everything with a smile on your face. Now, before I sold my practice, there used to be a big queue of people and they'd be waiting for me. And I'd say, but there's other people that work here. They say, no, we just want to see you. And I say, but they're better than me. Like they're technically better. And they say, no, we want to see you. And that's a really magical thing. And I can only imagine that your patients, once they see you, they're like, I want to see that lady. She is cool. And they're building a connection. Do you have any advice for certainly the younger profession that are coming into what we're doing on how we build that connection? Because I guess am I guessing that you work on self-development?
I personally don't.
Okay.
I have.
You're a natural.
So yes and no. I did work with with a direct sale company, and they did teach us how to market ourselves. So I use a lot of that now when I communicate with people and do podcasts and things like that. But I think a lot of it's just hearing people. And my mentality is if I can treat people the way I want to be treated, then everybody's going to be happy. So when every patient that sits down in the chair, I'm like, now that's me. How would I need to explain this exam so that they feel heard? And I think by approaching it that way from a doctor's perspective, putting myself as the patient, because I have been a patient before, I understand what they're going through. So again, because I've gone through what they've gone through, I can now understand what they're experiencing, and I can better give them.
Do you know how rare you are? Like I speak to a lot of people every day, and that empathy mixed in with the clinical excellence. And here's the fun thing: if you tuned into this episode to learn about social media, I don't know if you know this about me, but I was the first optician in the world to have Facebook, and I didn't even know that.
What?
Facebook approached me and they were like, you were the first one to have a page. I said, I had no idea. And that's, you can check it. It's on Meta. They've done this case study. So that was 2004.
Wow.
What I thought, if I've got a special magic moment, let me film it. And I found that I was the only one. And for me, people thought it was just for kids. Now, if you want, I'd love to talk to you about LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, the whole thing, like talking about that and your journey, how you found a gift to be on camera. Like you connect really well with the camera. Your audience love you. Whatever you put out is like 100 likes. Boom, 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 boom. So which one's your favorite? We'll start there.
My favorite has to be, again, LinkedIn, because that's kind of where the professional platform is. And I find that if I go into LinkedIn, I could just say whatever I want to say, and it's all very professional. I don't have to really build a network to really start on LinkedIn. So I just kind of started there when I first started with direct sales, and that's the platform I chose as my main one, because I felt like Facebook was more personal. I felt like I was too old for Instagram. Don't even get me about TikTok now. I'm still trying to learn that one. But LinkedIn, I felt like it was just professional, and I could just say what I need to say and get off. And that's the funny thing is, on LinkedIn, I felt like I was one of the first few doctors on LinkedIn to start promoting. So that's why I get so many followers on LinkedIn, because they're like, well, all we saw was you before the pandemic hit. And then when the pandemic hit, all we saw was you too. So, but I was like, well, I'm not that popular. But then again, I guess our industry is not that big. So then before you know it, a lot of people within our industry started to recognize my name. When I go to, trade shows, they would recognize me even with a mask on, which really, really humbled me.
It's crazy. It's crazy when people recognize you. They come up to you like your best friends, and they're like, Gary, how you doing? We hug.
I'm like, who are you? Let me look at your name badge. And then they're like, oh, but I've been following you. I was like, I haven't seen you like any of my posts. I haven't seen you make any comments, but you're following me. That's good and bad at the same time. It's humbling to know that people recognize me at a trade show when I'm just kind of like really minding my own business and looking to see what's new out there so I can educate more people within our industry.
I wasn't of course I was expecting you to be awesome, but you're even better than that. Like, you are amazing. What are the things that so we've done LinkedIn, Facebook, we've done Instagram. You didn't mention YouTube. YouTube for me, like, say, I don't know if you know this, but when you put something on LinkedIn, it can last for a long, long time. But it can come back up again if someone makes a comment. But on YouTube, the content's already made. It stays there for 10, 15 years. It stays there for a long time. And people are starting to find us through AI. And YouTube and AI are friends. So if you made, say you made a video and you called it Controlling Myopia, say, and you put that on Insta, it's very unlikely to go onto Gemini or chat. But you do it on YouTube, it's there. It's amazing. So
the funny thing is, I hate being on camera.
What?
I don't like to talk a lot. I do it in the exam room because it's like an interaction between the patient and myself. But if I have to sit and talk to a video by myself, I just can't do it. So you would not find me on YouTube unless it was part of a podcast.
Wow.
I did for somebody.
Yeah, but you've made it already. You made the content already. Just whack it on there.
I know. I just can't make that crossover. I just can't.
Well, I hope that if you're listening to this, you're inspired, because we're talking with one of the best optometrists in the world. The top 1% in the world on LinkedIn. And that should inspire everyone. Do you know, I was speaking to a lady yesterday, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying, and she's world class at what she does. And then we talked about marketing, and she started to get upset. And I said, let's explore this. Why do you feel so upset? And she started to cry and well up. She said, I hate marketing. Like, a lot of people in our industry, they just want to sit in the room. They just want to do their thing. They don't want to get it out there. And you shocked me just now by saying, I don't like being in front of the camera. So when did you discover that you got this skill, this superpower to be in front of the camera and be so engaging?
Like I told you, I do it because of this direct sell company I joined like 9 years ago. It was only on social media. So I had to learn to put myself out there. And that was the only reason I invent myself on LinkedIn. That's the only reason that I put my Instagram public. And that was the only reason I started putting any pictures or videos online. And it's like nerve-wracking when I have to do it.
That's so inspiring.
In front of people. I have to do it when like nobody's like looking at me. I get really like.
So were you worried about coming on the show today with me?
No, because it's like, so that's the difference between like a podcast, because it's like I'm just talking to you and you're like my patient. So it's like a one-on-one. We're having a conversation. So that's why I never have any notes. I don't really care what the topic is. As long as it's eye related, I'm usually pretty good. Or if it's on inspiration, I usually can wing it. It's only because it's what I'm passionate about. So generally,
and it comes across
to it forever. But yeah, I don't like it when I have to stick to a script, because half the time I won't remember.
Me too. I could never be an actor to stick to. I'd make up the lines as I go along. You are inspiring, and on your website, on your Instagram, it talks about volunteering for a long time at some charities. I'd love to explore that. I'd love to explore your passions and what you love, because it comes across. You love your job. You're really good at it. You're so good at social media. Tell us more about the things that you love about that, in particular, about the world of optics.
Sure. So volunteering, it's just giving back your time. So growing up with my little ones, I would volunteer at the church because I'm already there. So I might as well just volunteer in all their church schools and stuff like that. And then as they're getting older, again, more things related to the church, I'm just giving back there. Recently, I started volunteering with Special Olympics. I have a younger brother who has Down syndrome. So I work with 7.5 years with the Florida Health Department seeing special needs children. So I do have a special place in my heart for special needs. So being able to volunteer at the Special Olympics, it means a lot. And, I didn't do it. I think it's only like my full year since I've been volunteering with them. And that's only because I didn't have the time. My kids are finally old enough now that I'm like, okay, I have time to actually go and volunteer. I have time away from my work schedule to go and volunteer. Before, I was just working too many days and dealing with like your family and things like that to actually feel like I could volunteer my time.
You just ooze all Christian values, right? You ooze niceness. And you can't fake that. That's so authentic. And when I meet people and they say, you're the same as what you are on Facebook or Instagram, I say, I'm not different. If we met in real life, or if you met my mum and you'd say, describe Gary, who you see here is the same. And I believe that of you too. We're so lucky to have you in our profession. Truly, truly, truly. So you said Down syndrome. So that's a special skill that a Down syndrome child has ears in different places and nose. And do you look after Down syndrome children's glasses?
Yes. So when I was working with with the Florida Health Department, we saw special needs. Sometimes they could just be Downs only. Sometimes they were Downs with cerebral palsy. So there's sometimes there can be Downs with autism. So there's a combination of things that we would have to do. I had to cater the exam a little bit differently. My skills were very honed in on my retinoscopy skill at that time because we didn't have an autorefractor. So I was really, really good with my ret. And all my patients, loved their glasses and actually wore their glasses. And I took that skill once I stopped working there back to my practice and changing the way I do my exams for children. And even now for people who don't speak English, it's literally just a tweak of what I would do for kids who have special needs, because again, it's really about the same type of exam, but we're just doing it very differently, shorten it a little bit, taking a little bit less objectively, understanding how the objective part of it works and prescribing from there.
Wow. And there's a lot of creativity that comes in there. So that sometimes a newly qualified optometrist will say, look, they don't speak English, I'm really struggling. And I'd say, look, use K. So we use K pictures or tumbling E, like just figure it out. Like you got this.
Yes. So yeah, I do a lot of tumbling E, some pictures for kids or people who don't, speak English, because it's just easier for them to see where the legs are going in the letter E. And if they don't like any of that, like I said, I just do a good dilation. I do a post-dilated refraction and go from there. I don't like cycleplegic because to me, that's a little overkill.
And the children cry, and it stings. And
it's naturally performed on a daily basis. So why would I do a cycleplegic refraction? A mild dilation is going to be pretty much more close to what they would use their visual function on a day-to-day basis.
You're so sensible. Can I ask you a question that came up in practice the other day? Someone wearing a hard contact lens.
Yes.
The optometrist said, I want you to leave those out for 2 days. Now, wouldn't that be the refraction of 2 days? So they take their lenses out.
Yes.
And then they put them back in, and the cornea is that shape. So they wear their glasses straight after they take them off. Why are we waiting 2 days?
I actually prefer 1 day instead of 2.
Totally. Two sounds a lot.
Because I wore hard contact lens too. I actually prefer hard lenses before LASIK versus soft lenses because of the astigmatism. So you really only need 24 hours is what I tell patients. The reason for that is, again, it's giving me a better K reading. So then I can reshape that eye to a better prescription. If I am basing it on their 2-year-old, 5-year-old RGP, that lens can be warped. So that cornea, the instant they take it off, is not as accurate. So I need their baseline cornea, which only takes about 24 hours for me to do a good refraction so that their new contact lens will fit better. So that's the reason why with hard lenses, you need them out of that lens for at least 24 hours so you can get a more accurate reading of what it should be, not what it's warped to be.
See, I don't usually.
Most of the RGP patients don't wear it for just a year before they change it.
I love a challenge. I'm trying to find something you don't like. Wow, you like every era. Is there anything
prisms too?
You like what?
Prisms.
Oh,
I love prisms.
Oh wow, that's rare. Yeah. That's a rarity.
It's very rare because I try to teach my colleagues how to do prisms in phoropters, and I've moved from manual phoropters to automated phoropters, and I've gotten pretty good with the automated one too. I did a video not too long ago on that. So like I said, I personally love Prism, and I don't prescribe it just for patients who have strabismus. I love prescribing for patients who has macular issues or corneal issues to realign their eyes. And I posted about it recently, but I had a gentleman who came in. He's been to the VA probably like 7+ years. And he's complaining about that blur vision in that traumatic eye from his childhood forever. Not a single person has even addressed it. They're saying, you just see blurry, just live with it. We're going to balance your prescription. I was like, oh, let me see what I can do. Let me see what's the best refraction I can give you first. Now let me go ahead and see if I can add since he had a little bit of eccentric fixation. I said, sir, if you had to move that head around, where is there a point that you find that it's clear? He goes, yes, if I move it this certain way. I was like, then prism may work for you, but it may not. Let's see how long your eyes have adjusted. Let's see if your brain is willing to learn something new. So I did his refraction, found just a 0.5 diopter of prism movement to shift that image from that bad spot to a new spot. And let's just say when he picked up his glasses, he was just like, oh my gosh, I can already feel my binocularity is better. He didn't, of course, didn't say binocularity. He said, I just feel like my vision is better. Like overall, my vision just feels clear. Like I can see, like I feel it working. And he was just he started getting teary-eyed. And he gave me 2 hugs, not just 1, but 2. He even walked around the neighborhood just to check out, his new vision with his glasses. And he came back with some chocolate.
But I can say this, but you can't say this about yourself. If that patient had gone to 90% of opticians in the world, they wouldn't have got that service. That makes you world class. And when you are listening and you are thinking, wow, I'd like to be that good. Well, the thing is about being really good and masterful at your job, you really got to like it because you put in the extra hours. You look at a basketball player like Kobe. The guy was the first on the court, the last to leave. I study manuals. I'm interested. I'm curious. I'm tenacious. I want to experiment. Like when I was in my 20s, I prescribed myself some varifocals, some progressives, just so I could feel what it feels like. My boss said, you're crazy, but I'm all in. I'm a method actor of optometry, So you are the same. You are the same. Tell me more about, the bit I'm really interested in is you help people achieve their goals. That's really cool. Could we spend a few moments exploring that?
Sure. I talk to people all the time, and sometimes I get opticians or optometrists who see what I'm doing. They see my journey and they're like, can you help me in my journey? I'm like, sure, let's talk to me. Like, where are you at? And I give them pointers, and then I say, okay, let's go implement that. A lot of times it's because I am on LinkedIn quite a bit. I get a lot of people who actually reach out trying to sell me their business.
What?
All the time.
Well, I was on holiday, and the lady in the reception area, her nose pad had fallen off. So I was like, I'm going to fix that. So I went to the local optician, and she recognized me because in the UK, there's these magazines. I was in the magazine. She's like, are you Gary? I was like, yeah. And she recognized me from another country. And she said, oh, my husband has got Parkinson's, and I need to sell this thing. Do you want it? So that's only ever really happened to me once, but it was on holiday.
No, almost every single call that I get on, because I don't initiate calls. I'm just not motivated. So if somebody invite me on a call, I would most of the time would say yes, as long as my schedule aligns. Then I'll hop on the call. They're trying to sell me whatever. And then we get to that conversation about, and what brought me to you is because of your presence on LinkedIn. Could you give me some pointers? I was like, sure. I said, are you posting? No. Well, that's the first problem right there.
You're wrong stuff.
Are you engaging in other people's posts? No, because I haven't seen you engage in mine either. So why don't you start liking my posts, commenting on my posts? Because guess what? When you engage on platforms, the platform, it rewards you by making more people see your post. Not only is it your audience that's seeing it, but also the person you're posting on is seeing your post, your comments. So when you engage, it works for you multiple folds. So even if you don't like posting, engaging is really, really big.
Just on LinkedIn. Yeah. On LinkedIn, right? Engagement is so important.
And then I was like, are you even engaged? Are you taking the conversation offline? Are you just texting behind the scene? Are you taking the conversation? Well, obviously he's taking that offline because we're on the call. But I said, you need to do all these other stuff if you want to move forward. So the next thing I know, I'm like giving them like, they're spending the rest of the call just teaching them how to brand themselves on social media. And they're like, I feel like I need to pay you for this. I'm like, nah, Just
Would you ever get, there's a saying 1-to-1 or 1-to-many. Would you ever consider doing a course together and we'll sell it for $5 anywhere in the world?
Dude, that's what everybody's saying. They're like, you should just put a course out there. And I'm like, but that sounds like a lot of work.
No, that's just
doing it. I'm like, I know, but then it feels like work. This is more personal. I feel like I'm just talking to you and helping you on a one-on-one level.
Well, look, how about if we get 100 comments on this post, 100 comments saying, I want you to make a little course. It'll be $5. And if you want, we can give more than half to the church, to your favorite charity.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Your favorite charity. How about that?
All right, we can get 100 comments.
100 comments, and we'll give the majority of the money to charity. I like that.
Yes. I get charities reach out to me all the time on LinkedIn and say, I need help. I'm like, but I just donated to somebody else. Like, I just helped some random person on LinkedIn who's like having issues like funding for food for him and his mom.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, let me just send you some money. It took like, I don't know, like almost a week for me to figure out how to send it because he lives in another country that is not, I'm like, I've never sent money there. So I'm like, here you go. Just
You're so lovely. Do you know when I do people, we call it in London solids, when we do someone a favor, right?
Oh, yeah.
I send them, I say, give me a Google review. Like this little badge here, this makes me a level 9 Google reviewist. I think that Google reviews is my payment. If I'm going to do you a favor, that's the least you can do. So maybe start asking people for a review or a recommendation on LinkedIn. That's only fair. That's only fair.
Usually that's what they're like, is there anything I can do for you? Like, I feel like, you've given me so much. I was like, you can just write me a review on LinkedIn.
That's fair.
But I don't always think of that. I should. So I have some reviews on LinkedIn, but like I said,
do you charge?
Some of them I haven't. So.
Do you charge for repairs if someone's glasses are askew, if they need an adjustment?
No, I do not.
This is again, I've invented. It says that you're an inventor on your LinkedIn.
Well, I do.
Oh, an innovator, an innovator. I've got these cards, right? Check this out. It's called the Tap and Trust card, and. Cool. What I do with these cards, I touch the patient's phone. It works with NFC technology. I touch it. And then when they come in, you can either touch it and it goes to a Google review, or you could touch it and it could go on a page for macular degeneration or glaucoma. Mm-hmm. I'll send you one. You will like it. They're good. So what I've noticed, because I look after other opticians' digital marketing, and in the UK, it's really unfair. The more Google reviews you have, the further people come and the more your phone rings. Doesn't mean you're brilliant. It just means you're good at asking. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm good at teaching.
I'm doing pretty good. I just need to get more patients to like respond. So I send out like, emails and texts after they get their exams, asking for a review. And
see, this is instant. This works within 3 seconds. So they touch their phone, you touch it. And let me give everyone some advice out there. If their lens has dropped out because there's screws on the floor, ask for the feedback before you repaired it. They're going to do it. If you repair it, they say, I'm going to do it when I get home. Do it when I get home sometimes doesn't happen.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't happen, yeah.
I have so enjoyed. Absolutely, you're a 1 in a million human being, and we are so lucky to have you in optics. And I feel closer to you, and I feel very lucky that we've got to hang out. What time is it over in the States now?
It is 1:40 p.m.
Okay, so it's not unreasonable. It's 6 p.m. over here. I wish you a lovely weekend. Is there anything else you want to explore that you could offer to others as inspiration?
As inspiration, network. You just never know who you're going to come across and when that person can help you out, because it's not always them directly. It could be indirectly them helping you out. And that's happened to me a couple of times where I met somebody, we built a connection, and then they reach out because somebody that they knew needed somebody with my talents. And they came and connected us. And that's how I've gotten like different job offers and different collaborations throughout the years. So
have you heard of BNI? BNI?
No.
Check it out. I'm an 18-year member. I love networking. I love working in a room. I love being with other opticians. So BNI, you can go and it's free and you can check out your first visit. Opticians don't tend to be there, and that was my secret sauce because I was the only optician around that was in this networking thing. You like it.
Like I said, I'm not that big on actually reaching out, but like I said, I like to talk to people so that people can connect me. But I would try to check it out.
Okay, well, maybe I'll send you a link. This has been so absolutely awesome. I keep thinking of things that I want to ask you. You know, what do you call in the States when you teach someone how to wear contact lenses? We call it insertion removal, right? And this is a bold statement I'm about to make. I think right, in the last 30 years, I've never failed to get somebody to put their lenses on.
Never?
Never.
Yeah. So I think I've taught everybody how to put their lenses in, but whether they do it themselves later, that's another issue.
So I have a technique that I'd love to share with you.
Yes,
Number one is when they're doing it, after a couple of minutes, say, I can't do it, I start to pack away. And they're like, what are you doing? I said, well, if you say you can't do it, then you're right. And let's just finish here. And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm serious. The minute you say you can't do it, you're there. You've got a problem. I say, repeat after me. You will get these on, not in, on. And they're like, okay, all right, they say it. And then we're good. And then we're good. And then they've changed their mindset. And then there's three ways of learning. One is audible. Now, people don't really listen. It's only 5% of what we say actually goes in. They like to see. So what I do is I get a lens and I put it on my eye and then I put it on the other eye and they watch me take them out. Unheard of in our industry. People don't do that. So then I say, look, this is what I do. And then so they've seen it. Then I get them to put a lens on their finger and then put it straight onto their finger. And sometimes they come in at an angle. I'm like, no. You need to just, and it's the lightest of touches, just takes it off. And I hope that's added value to people, but it hasn't failed me. Wow. If the minute they start saying, I can't do it, you need to give up. It's like, look, you need to change your mindset. And sometimes, how appropriate, Christine, will you tell me off if this is inappropriate? Will you tell me off?
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes I say to a person, I'll say, if you say you can't get a man, if you say you can't get a girlfriend, you're probably right. And that and that seems to resonate with people.
I say, this is not your first kiss. So I say, when their contact lens touching their eye, it's like kissing. I say, it's not your first kiss. So you don't just quickly do it. You want to go in and actually apply some pressure. And I'll do it like on their shoulder. I was like, so it's not a first kiss. You actually have to touch the eye, give a little bit of more.
Can I steal that? I'm going to steal that. This isn't your first kiss and you put pressure. There was one time, because in the UK, there's rules about professional boundaries. And there's this one time this lady just couldn't do it. She'd seen all my colleagues. She'd seen me a few times. We hadn't given up. And I said, look, the office opens at 9 a.m. Be here at 8. I'm going to get some croissants. I'm going to get a coffee. We're going to do this, right? And she's like, okay. Anyway, we managed, she got them in and out 3 times. And then we forgot ourselves and we hugged each other and jumped up and down. And then we thought, oh my God, just your optician. And then we acted normal again. It was good. The greatest connection. It was lovely.
Wow, you make him take it in and out 3 times?
I'm strict. Wow. I'm strict. And contact lens companies, they don't understand, or they do know the stats that people usually drop out. 30-40% of people drop out because they forget, they don't know. I write my mobile number. I say, you can call me anytime till midnight. You call me if there's a problem. No one's ever called. They don't call. There you go. That's my share. Can I ask another question about the States? In the UK, we've got a thing called Dr. Noon. Has this hit the States yet?
Dr. what?
So the word noon in Korean means eye. And there's this thing. fundus photography, and it takes a picture of your eye, and then it can tell you from the nerves and arteries, depending on how thick they are, if you're going to have heart disease. It's amazing, and hardly anyone is excited about it apart from me. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, are you excited about that? I don't know.
We have retinal cameras here, yes.
Yeah, so the AI goes in there and it does da 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 da, and it looks at millions of other pictures of how thick it is for that age, and within a 99% accuracy, it tells you you're going to have a heart attack. Are you excited about it? I don't know.
Nice, yeah.
So
I work with reading retinal imaging, so that's part of building that database for the AI.
So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about red light. Like when you've got macular degeneration, not wet, dry, there's a certain frequency of red light. If you put these glasses on, it's showing that the macula is with mitochondria is getting excited and youthful. Is that hitting the United States?
Not so much yet. And we have to be really careful with that because there are red light that can be used for like skincare and things like that.
Wrong frequency. You need it to be at just the right frequency.
Right. So we're getting people who are using it incorrectly and then damaging their eyes. So I think for the red light for the macular degeneration, I think that's used more for in the ophthalmology office, not in optometry quite just yet. But I hear about it.
I'm going to send you I done a podcast with a guy. He's the like leading authority in the world on LED light. And he said, I got this thing. It's no big deal. I'm like, this is a big deal. And I'll send you the papers as well. Because I feel like I like to innovate. I want to push boundaries. I want to try things that are cool. Have you heard about this one? You know, do you call it color deficiency or color blindness?
It should be color deficiency because you're not truly colorblind.
So color deficiency, right? So we know 6 to 8% of our patients are color deficient. And there is so much shame around this topic. I didn't know this. My grandfather was a tailor, and he used to ask my grandmother what color the thread was. It wasn't until he died that I realized. Anyway, I met these guys over in Hungary, and they've figured out this solution of some description, and it's just absolutely amazing. And in the UK, they've got like a medical stamp, and I think this is pretty cool. So I look at when I go to a trade show, I look and I'm like, this is so cool, but then no one else is really interested in what I see as cool. AI, I don't know how far you are with this, but in Munich, I went to a trade show and there was refraction with AI. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it one inch. Where do you think that's going to go?
I don't think it's going to go very, very far. I've seen some of those virtual AI visits, and it wasn't very good.
I hated it. So just to
fix from those.
So we agree on that one. Just to wrap up, where do you see the future? Where are you going to go, Christine? What are your goals in the next couple of years, and where do you see optics going in the States? Because you guys are ahead of us.
I think we're still going to see more technology. I think more people are grasping onto myopia control and dry eyes. So we're going to see a lot more new treatments options in those areas for patients. So that way they have more variety in terms of that. I think more doctors will gravitate towards utilizing AI in their marketing as well as their business. Because again, it is important that you are aware of it and utilizing it, because otherwise you're using old technology, and old technologies is not going to provide the best quality of care for the patient. So many of our older generation doctors are kind of shunning it because they don't understand it. And I definitely have been trying to market that part out like crazy and working with companies who do embrace AI. And then sharing that with colleagues so that they too can be on the upfront and knowing what is the new stuff that's out there, so that, we're not double entering or, doing additional tasks that we don't have to. Because, our tools are there to work together to make us more efficient. So we have more time to again, talk to patients. So why are we not utilizing AI to save on time?
Would you ever trust software like Whisper in your room? So I love this software called Whisper, and you talk to it and it's so accurate. And would you ever do a consult, not write any notes down and have Whisper listen to you and then write it down for you?
Well, I do in my EHR called Barty, we do have an AI scribe. So once I hit that record button, it's recording whatever I speak to it, and it just documents it in for me. Because I am my only staff, so I have to deal with doing everything from start to finish with that patient. So there's sometimes I don't have time to type, but I try to make my chart pretty streamlined so that I do minimal typing if I did. But having the AI scribe does help when I do need it to type faster, like medication. If you want to type in a list of medication, I can just speak and it gets documented into my charts. So that works way easier.
How cute is it? Like whenever I register a new patient, I always say, look, bring in all your medication. And they bring in 2 bags of like.
That's harder.
That's so cute. Like, you've been so generous with your time. I hope that you've had fun talking with everybody, and whoever's listening to this, you've been so generous and you come across as a wonderful human being. And anybody, where is your office?
It is in Winter Park, Florida. So if they ever come to visit Disney, I am just a drive away.
So I don't know if you know, the biggest AI social media conference in the world is Social Media Examiner. Do you know this thing? So, oh wow. Well, I'd like you to come with me next year because it was just next to Disney. I was there. I will travel. I'll travel for frames. I'll travel for AI and social media stuff. So this is it in your backyard.
No, you should invite me next time.
All right. Sure. All right. Well, you're VIP. I'm sure they'll let you in.
Let's see.
Like,
Christy, who?
What? This is like a co-optometrist. Look, have a lovely day. I would recommend you highly if you are listening to this by some fluke and you need an eye exam. Man, go check out Kristie.
Sure. The farthest patient who was flown to see me was Arizona. So that was like a couple states away. So like I said, I would love to get people from other countries to come visit and get nice.
It happens. That happens. I remember back in the day in 2004, 5, people would travel and travel and travel. And I'd say, but why? This is because we trust you, because we saw you. A video, we're not actors. I'm not. Like we are who we say we are. And when you're speaking with passion, your patient will like you. And that's the hardest bit of marketing. They'll choose you. Do you want to wrap it up? Do you want the last word?
Sure. Let's see. Wrapping it up, just saying, be yourself, be authentic, be yourself, be true to yourself, and do what makes yourself happy, but try to help others in the meantime.
I think that's a pod.